Okay, morning cadets. Today we are coming forward with another sections of national integration. It is the second part of the national integration module. In this module, we will be going through we will be analyzing the factors that is responsible for weakening the national integration. What are the important factors that weakens the national integration? And then what are the measures that we can put forward to achieve national integration? So these are the two main points that we are discussing today in this class. So we will go to the PowerPoint presentation. This is national integration part 2. The aim of this class is about the national integration review. First part is introduction, second part is the factors affecting national integration, third it is the measures to achieve national integration, and fourth, conclusion. Introduction. National integration means a feeling of togetherness and unity among the people of a country. It is an atmosphere of which all citizens, irrespective of their caste, religion and region, live together peacefully. Integration in all respects, social, political, economic and emotional. People work together and cooperate with each other for the prosperity of the nation. So what are the factors affecting national integration? First one, it is the cultural aspect. The Indian society is a multiracial and multi-religious with a diverse culture. Indian culture has given rise to various complications in the society. The mixed culture of today and the rich cultural heritage can prove to be the most effective tool for achieving national integration. It is often forgotten that we are all belong to the same culture, whatever be its beginning. Second, yet another main factors which affect national integration is the political motives. For the sake of maintaining their status, political parties indulge in exploitation of people in one form or the other. Next, it is lack of education is one of the important factor which affects the national integration. In spite of the political independence of the country in 1947, the people at large are yet to be liberated. Illiteracy is still rampant through being overcome slowly and gradually. Illiterates and unemployed are more easily misguided and exploited by the people with vested interest due to their ignorance and lack of proper perspective. Next, it is communalism. Religious anarchism has posed a serious challenge to national integration in India. Political manipulation has projected one religion against the other, which has resulted in communal riots, bloodbath, mutual distrust, and disunity in the country. Large-scale illiteracy and superstitions are responsible for rise of communalism in the country. It is very difficult to promote national integration under these situations. Next, it is casteism. Casteism has always played a dirty role in matters of politics and reservation and has created a wide gulf between different segments of society. Unity and integrity have become a challenging dream in a caste-ridden society. It becomes a challenge for national integration. Next, it is regionalism. There are several regions in India having their unique traditions, food habits, dress and languages. Each region differs from one another in various ways, which leads to divisive tendencies within the country. The unequal development of different regions of India has negatively affected the character of national integration. Next, it is linguistic fanaticism. What is linguistic fanaticism? Multilingualism is one of the important characters of India. Due to linguistic and regional loyalties, the national feeling gradually erodes. Linguistic tensions are manifested in the borders which are bilingual. India has 15 officially recognized languages. Language issue has become a barrier on the way of national integration. Next, it is social disparity. In every society, there is a system of social stratification. Social stratification refers to inequality in society based on unequal distribution of goods, services, wealth, power, prestige, duties, rights, obligations, and privileges. Social disparity poses great challenge to national integration. Next, it is economic inequalities. Economic standard of people in a state depends on the fertility of land, resources available, and manpower management. All the states are not equal in the above matter, which leads to uneven economic progress of the people. Day by day, poor are becoming poorer and rich becoming richer, causing tensions and conflicts. Next, it is ethnic conflicts. Ethnic conflict has hindered national integration. Whereas the modern concept of nationalism is closely linked with the concept of nation state, have described another prevailing notion, that is ethno-nationalism. The concept of ethno-nationalism best defines the self-understanding of the ethnic group in the Northeast India in the various forms of their struggle for identity. Next, it is tribal identity. The tribal carries a denotation of primitive and inferiority of the people. The attitude of the national mainstream that looks down upon the tribals is in serious conflict with the proud self-understanding of the tribals in various parts of the country. Such a pride is exhibited in their ethno-national feeling. Next, it is corruption and lack of character. Last and not the least, corruption in the country is on the scale that can be linked to the ants eating away the roots of the foundations. The lack of moral character and ethnic values deprive us of the strength to overcome our own weakness. Combined together, corruption and lack of character has caused immense damage to the nation, whereby people at large have sold their nation for short-term personal and political gains. So these are the major factors which affects national integration. Once again, the factors which affect national integrations are political motives, lack of education, communalism, casteism, regionalism, linguistic fanatism, social disparity, economic inequalities, ethnic conflicts, tribal entity, and corruption and lack of character. So if we can overcome these factors, we can achieve national integrations. So next we'll go through what are the measures to achieve national integration. First one is the philosophy of integration. We should know the philosophy of integration. How can we integrate these diverse people? Integration requires commitment in theory and practice to work in a cooperative manner. It needs to be univocally understood. The national integration is a process of growth and development. Integration is a process of growth and development in which every citizen has a common stake and has to equally strive for achieving it continuously and vigorously. A sense of patriotism and nationalism alone is not sufficient for maintaining a high ideal. Rather, we have to keep working in a systematic manner all the time, always keeping in view the nation before self. Next, it is culture as a unifying factor. The process of evolution of India, composite culture of today, oneness of the country, since time immemorial has never been in doubt. The rich cultural heritage of India developed by all understanding as to what India is. Next, it is promotion of secularism. The spirit of secularism is highly necessary in our multi-religious society. Any sort of activities creating communal reactions in the public mind should be prohibited. No discrimination among the people on the grounds of religion should be made. Next, it is the role of politics. The regional political parties play a dirty role in exploiting the regional feelings of the people. So the regional political parties formed on the basis of linguism at times from the government. Politics needs to be separated from religion and strict laws enacted and enforced against exploitation of the common man. Next, it is economic unity. For the sake of national integration, we have to see that no part of the country is particularly backward from the economic viewpoint. For this, the backward class and the minority people should be accorded special assistance for their general uplift. Next, it is the dignity of the individuals. Every citizen must be dealt with equal dignity, irrespective of religion, region, language, caste, creed, and socio-economic status. Mutual respect will develop only if we believe in it and practice it, rather than paying only lip service to it. Next is socio-economic reforms. Provision of equal rights and opportunities has been guaranteed through our constitution. However, its practice leaves such much to be desired. The justice needs to be meted out equally and swiftly to ensure against frustrations and the focus of disintegration in the society. Eradication of social injustice and the evils will automatically take care of economic backwardness of the downtrodden and provide assistance to all, particularly the backward classes. Next, it is education. Education is a powerful weapon for the national integration. Through education, we may give the necessary motivations to children, the future citizens of the country. Next, it is emotional unity. For national integration, the people of the land must come together into one emotional thread. There can be no national integration unless all the people consider themselves as one. Through emotional integration, we get the power and implicit sanction of the people for national integration. Next, it is the national language. It needs to be ensured that the language should not become a barrier instead of a medium. The people should not be deprived of equal opportunity because of any language or the lack of it, particularly in securing central government jobs. Next, it is nationalism and patriotism. We have had a glorious past, but regrettably, our today is rather hollow. We have a rich cultural heritage, but we have to keep building it up through dedication and hard work. Next, a proper use of media and political and administrative measures. The service of radio and TV must be intelligently used. People of different states must be understood to each other's cultures and way of life, and common elements should be stressed upon. Since India is a federal democratic country, its integration in all respects should be done in a democratic manner. Each ethnic, caste, tribal, religious, and linguistic group should have freedom for protecting and promoting their own cultures and traditions. So once again, the measures to achieve national integrations are philosophy of integration, cultural as a unifying factor, promotion of secularism, role of politics, economic unity, dignity of individuals, socio-economic reforms, education, emotional unity, national language, nationalism and patriotism, proper use of media, political and administrative measures. So to conclude, we need national integration on permanent footing, and this can be achieved by enlightening our children. All children during their formative years, they must be taught that we all are Indians belonging to one motherland. We must not give too much importance to separate identities. Achieving national integration is a slow moving, continuous and a long term work in progress which needs to be understood, encouraged and practiced by every citizen of a country, especially the youth. Thank you, cadets.